Hey everyone, Luke here, Stage 76. If you happen to see my Slipknot video before this video is going to be tonally very different. I was reading off of a teleprompter for that one. This one is pretty much completely unscripted other than a few notes that I have here on my phone. In lieu of recent events in the United States, it's not a good time for women out there right now, so thought I would take some time out to discuss certain gender inequalities in the heavy music scene and how some of us as just normal people, show-goers, can try to make things just a little bit better. My main impetus behind this channel is to just talk about concerts and heavy music culture in general, not so much the music itself, but the music itself will definitely be discussed here. Just first and foremost, we can talk about how there is a major lack of diversity in the scene in general, whether it's race, gender, or anything. It's very white male skewed, and today we're going to be focusing primarily on the male part of that. There are just a lot more dudes in this scene than women, especially when it comes to the performers. I'm going to Incarceration Festival here in a couple of weeks, so I decided to go through the entire lineup and figure out how many men and women were performing the entire weekend. And let me tell you, it's pretty wild, the disparity there is between the amount of men and the amount of women. Now, naturally, I didn't get this 100% accurate. There are a lot of solo artists performing, and I don't know exactly who the people in their backing bands are going to be because that information is a little bit hard to find. And some of the bands that were performing, I'm not sure if I got a completely correct lineup, but I'm going to go with what I found. So, over the course of the entire weekend, there will be 238 men performing on stage across all three of their stages over the entire weekend. How many women? 13. Yes, 13 women to 238 men. That's like 5% women. When the global gender disparity between men and women is naturally 50-50, this is kind of crazy. And one of those women is performing twice, so, shout out Emma for doing double duty at this one. I can definitely understand why women have a hard time getting popular in these types of roles, especially when you look at stuff like, especially the lyrical content of a lot of the music in this type of genre. We'll get to that later, though. We've got some choice lyrics from a pretty damn well-known band. But I just remember reading this article a few years ago about Maria Brink saying at Ozfest there was a crowd of 500 people telling her to show her tits. Guys, why? That's fucked up. Be better. You don't have to be a pig 24/7, and please just don't be a pig at all. Just be a normal person and treat women like normal people because that's what they are. It's not that hard. And I'm sure there are a lot of other women performers in this scene that have gone through very similar experiences. That's just one story of, I'm sure, tons like it. That was years ago. I couldn't even imagine an in this moment crowd telling Maria Brink to show her tits in a crowd now. That's just unbelievable to me. I've seen In This Moment like 9 times. I love that band. And if I ever saw anything like that happening at a show, I've never fought anyone before, but I'd be tempted. And like I said earlier, there are a lot of scary lyrics toward women. Let's take a look at the classic song by Whitechapel, Vicer Exciser. Oh my god. Every time I look at these lyrics, I still remember the first time I was listening to this song, I was working this really weird overnight shift at work when I got snowed in. And I just remember hearing the song for the first time. I'm like, what the fuck? This is ridiculous. Okay, so this is not the full lyrics to the song, but let's just take a little passage here. I ripped her limb from fucking limb. Just one less slut to walk this fucking earth. I will spit right in your fucking face. How does it taste? After the lips are sealed below your waist, you will never fuck again. Ooh, Phil. Come on, man. You're better than this, Phil. This is no shade thrown at Whitechapel or anything. I saw Whitechapel last week, and that song is from 2008. I really hope Phil has gone a little bit far past the incel vibes that that song is giving off. I actually got reminded of this song earlier this week when I was watching this video by a guy named Crustbag. Go check that video out if you want to hear some more cringy incel lyrics. At some point, you know, I don't care if this song was from like 2008. You're talking about sewing a woman's vagina shut. What the fuck? That is insane. That is some next level incel shit. And I really hope that nobody going to any show that I go to is actually approving of these sorts of actions, because that's insanity. Don't be that way. It's easy. Unfortunately, sometimes at these shows, there are some sort of incel types around. One of the most notable types are the people who will grope women when they are crowd surfing. I get it. Sometimes you're accidentally going to reach up and touch some girl's boob when you're lifting her over you when she's crowd surfing. I get that. It happens. But don't be reaching up there with intent. They're up there to have fun, not be groped by your sweaty ass. A lot of artists will call this out if they do see it happening. Two people in particular, I remember at Rock on the Range in 2014 called this out. The first of which being, as much as I don't want to approve of anything this person does, or well, anything he says at least, Aaron Lewis of Stained was very adamant about guys not doing this, and I think I recall him saying he would like come down into the crowd and kick our asses if he found you doing that. I'll get behind Aaron Lewis on this one. I don't agree with him on a lot, but I'll agree with him on that. The other person who actively called this out, as I recall at Rock on the Range 2014, was Ivan Moody of Five Finger Death Punch. You know, say what you want about Five Finger Death Punch as well. It's a good thing that he is calling people out for doing this type of thing. Like, we don't need that violence towards women in anywhere, especially in our scene. Guys, we want more women to come to shows. The crowd demographics are, while better than the artist demographics, are still not good. It's still very male skewed when it comes to the audience of rock and metal and other heavy music of the sort. We can all do our best to try to make it a more inclusive environment for women by not creeping on them and touching them when they do not want it. And that's another thing. Just because a woman is dressed in any type of way when she's at a show, that does not give you permission to touch her. That should go without saying, but it has to be said, unfortunately. It's just like those cosplay conventions where they have to have signs up that say cosplay is not consent. The same goes for when you're at a metal show. Just because a girl's dressed a certain way, that does not mean you are allowed to touch her. By no means am I saying, you know, don't even associate with women at shows. I mean, yeah, I get it. There are a lot of lonely guys out there who want to go to shows and potentially meet somebody cool. I get that. Don't make that your intent at a show. If it happens, it happens. Go there, have a good time, just like everyone else. If you happen to come across some cool girl you meet, you talk, good on you. It happens sometimes. It's cool to find someone who has a mutual interest and then, you know, form some sort of relationship, whether that be a friendship or romantic. But don't be a pig. Don't be a pervert, just be normal. Be courteous to women, be courteous to all people. This is a very different type of video from my last one. I know I didn't really use any B-roll in this one, and there's a lot less cutaways. It's not funny, but this isn't a funny topic. For lack of a better term, there is sort of an attack on women in general in the world right now, or well, especially in the US. So us as metalheads, rockers, whatever the hell you want to call us, I just say we're heavy music listeners. Let's do our best to just be better and make the world a more inclusive place for everyone. Stage 76, Luke signing off.